Good morning. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. We're here at McShane's, Michigan and Trumbull. They're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, I guess. Last week around here, there was, and the weather wasn't that good, but there was a lot of folks. And
the weather was not good.
Yeah.
Because you told me to get outside at 7 o'clock in
If
the morning.
you're gonna get elected judge, you better stop looking fly and go out there and
I can't help but
anyway, Vanessa.
I can't help but to be fly.
What's going on with the campaign?
Wait a minute, Lengel. Wait a minute. Allan Lengel from Deadline Detroit. How you doing, Allan?
Good.
Sitting in on our first segment is Eric Brown.
Good morning.
Advocate for teaching people how to read. Now let's get this.
Just had an accident.
Okay, there's no question about it. Anyway, let's
introduce me.
I said Vanessa Mongo talk so much
shit.
No, this is not. This is.
He did not say Vanessa Mongo.
And see what
Vanessa
you're doing.
Mongo, candidate for 36th district.
Okay.
The one that he says is fly. I fly all the time.
Okay, and let me see how much that is. Let me put it on the count. But anyway,
invoice, sir.
Where we are. Anyway, since we got our guest here, Eric, we're gonna start with you. What's your outrage of the week?
So much to choose from. I think that we as a people in society just have to wake up and make the best decisions possible being followers, because at the end of the day, if you're not doing research and then all you're doing is regurgitating narratives, that does not help the cause. And in addition to that, if you are not a voter, you're not willing to sign a petition because you're not a voter, then you need to sit your ass down.
So let me say this though here. You say stop being followers. At some point in time, we all have to be followers. There's nothing wrong with being a follower.
Oh yeah, there's a lot wrong with being a follower. When you follow blindly,
when you follow, mean that you're not a leader.
When you follow blindly, there's a lot wrong with being a follower,
so
because you have to go along and get along crowd. Those that just go along no matter what. Those that just will blindly follow and have no research to back up why they're following, but because someone told them to do it, they just yes men and yes women.
So what are you talking about?
Well, look at politics. Okay, I mean, you look at politics.
Okay.
Well, you look at politics, you look at the organization, you look at the Black church, people just blindly follow and have no sense of why they're following, other than, Joseph told me to do this.
And they don't hold these
They don't hold
people.
nobody account. There's article
right.
There's article Publica today, which is a news mag, and they're talking about how people do not hold particularly elected officials accountable. That's a fact. And then they want to rail on the fact that the person they're supporting is all righteous. No, they're not.
So you're saying you outraged with followers that don't have an agenda. Is that what you're saying? They're following people that don't have a real agenda other than themselves.
Oh, they got an agenda.
They have an agenda.
Themselves.
No, they have an agenda.
Well, they let other people think for them.
So
but we can talk about that all day. I'm gonna go to you, Vanessa. What's your outrage? Why?
Yeah.
Because you're next.
So
that's right.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had someone. Oh, by the way, thanks for watching Detroit in Black and White on your YouTube channel or Facebook Live or Twitter, or I think they call it X, or Instagram. If you're watching, like, subscribe, and share. Push that like button, subscribe, and share. But a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody ask what was our opinion about immigrants getting money, a stipend every month or something like that. And I couldn't answer the question. You couldn't answer the question, nor could you answer the question because we didn't know anything about it. Well, I said that I would address that. I would do some research.
Right.
Well, the next week, I was in the grocery store, and there's a lady in the grocery store telling me the same thing, right? So I'm like, well, where did you find this information? Where did you find this information? So I decided to, do a Google search, and what I'm outraged about is that, you know what, it's going to lead into sort of what you were talking about, how people are just on autopilot. Listen, they found out this information on the dark web.
Right.
There's no truth to
Or
it. What?
Fox News.
Well,
That's
I'm
the
not
dark
going to say
web.
that. I'm not going to say that.
Darth Vader is the president.
But what we need to be careful about is that when we're doing that, you need to be careful about disinformation. So I read an article about the Russian disinformation is about immigration. So the Russians are putting this information out here and people are gobbling it up and believe it, but they have an agenda. Their agenda is, listen, we're going to put out this disinformation. One, they want this guy to become the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Two, they made it, and not saying that immigration isn't an issue, but they're disseminating false information. And we as consumers, not only are we taking it in, we are disseminating.
Well, you saw
This-
that the response from the Republican senator from Alabama who used a rape victim, sex trafficking victim, said from Mexico. The woman outed herself and said, "Bullshit.
Mhm.
This shit happened years ago. I didn't give her permission to talk about it, to use my name, to make me the poster child of the Republican Party, because the way the senator was talking, it happened just recently." They said this stuff been happening when George Bush and before Bush, Clinton, etc., was the president. So,
But what do you mean,
So-
Vanessa? Because migrant situation in Israel. Ask the
I
people in
didn't
New
say
York.
that.
Ask the
yeah,
people
but
in
they're not
Chicago,
getting,
ask the people in
No,
benefits.
No, I'm talking about the thousands of dollars that they said that these people are getting a month. They're getting a stipend every month. That's disinformation.
They are getting a stipend
No,
in New
they're
York.
not.
You had the mayor of New York complaining
But
about
they
that.
didn't give
They're
them
getting a
no
stipend
money.
in Chicago.
They not. They giving them shelter. They not. And that's
They're
another.
feeding them.
Yes.
They're
They're not
feeding them, but
giving them no money.
you know, what do we do? It's
You feed
it's an untenable situation,
Yeah,
but
you gotta feed.
we're also, the United States is we're humans treating fellow humans.
Now
I mean,
watch.
we don't,
Now
they don't
watch.
want to be in that situation.
Now watch what our
You know,
government do. Hades is in chaos.
Right.
And they're not gonna let them in, but how many
Right.
people complain about that? No, how many people complain about it?
You go to South Florida. You go to South Florida. They complaining about it
Right.
because the Cubans get on dry land. They keep them.
Right.
Haitians, the
They
Coast
send them
Guard
back.
take them back.
They already
No,
said
they
that.
don't send them
Anyone
back.
that come,
They take them back.
they already said he want to come to America from Haiti, resulting in the crisis right now. They're gonna send them right back.
We the
So
one, the U.S. created chaos in Haiti, and there's always been chaos. We invaded it about 5 or 6 times. And listen, how you have one country right next to another country that's prosperous, and the other one is just dead on arrival. Anyway, Allan, your outrage.
my outrage of the week, I'm concerned about our justice system. I mean, first of all, we have the judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, who is delaying the case down there. I mean, to me, it's an open and shut case on the documents. And, the Republicans during the hearing this past week were complaining that Biden wasn't charged. But the reality is Trump would have never been charged. It didn't matter that he was in possession, which they're all illegally in possession of that. But it didn't matter. All they were saying is give back the documents. And Trump was doing everything to hide them and move them and get them out of Mar-a-Lago. And this judge is trying to delay. And now she's saying, she's going to put off. She's not going to throw out the case right now. Trump's lawyers are saying it's constitutionally vague, the case, but she says we'll leave it open. She should have ruled and said the case is solid. The guy's clearly obstructing justice.
She's trying to work
She's
her
trying to
way,
help him out.
and she want to be on the Supreme Court.
And then the other one is Bonnie Willis. Yeah, I just think, I mean, it's such an important case. You can't fuck up like that and just.
but she fucked up. I mean, people kill me with this Bonnie Willis situation. She lied on the stand. She's a lawyer.
Right.
So at the end of the day, and then she goes into a church and screams racism. I mean, she created that race
I
issue.
And the judge,
I
and the
think it was
judge.
sexism. I
Again,
think it
following
was
people
I'm sorry.
following in the church. I mean, come on. I mean, the Bonnie Willis case is a non-issue to me.
No.
Go ahead.
You said that First of all, it was not found that the judge didn't rule that that he found impropriety. He said there was an appearance. You either stay or the other guy can stay. Okay.
Right.
He didn't throw out the case.
I predicted
Okay.
that's
He
what he
didn't
was
throw
going
out
to
the
do.
case.
Yeah.
It was a delay. But the legal process, this is what we do.
But
We
this is
Yeah,
another.
you delayed.
Wait a minute. This is
And for you to be
this is
outraged
another
or
case.
offended because she went into a church, listen, the black
She
church
went into
is
the church and in front of people that's gonna follow her. And she lied in front of the people. She knew she had an affair because she knew she had an affair. That she told them. They're going after black man. Come on, yeah. It's a non-issue.
Wait a
It's a
minute.
non-issue.
It's no impropriety. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying there's
It
impropriety.
isn't-
There's a
it wasn't
hidden
an
impropriety.
It's another issue where Poontang creates chaos.
Right,
Yes,
correct.
and a man.
You
She
know, but
should
at the end of
never
the
give
day-
her man. She should never gave her man that position because the spotlight was gonna be on her.
So, Vanessa, you saying when she went to the
Men
church,
give women.
you saying when she went into the church, she was righteous when she spoke in front of all them people doing a Martin Luther King celebration. She knew she was lying when she spoke in front of people. Then she placed a race card. So for all these people that have sympathy for her, it's mind-boggling to me.
I don't have a problem with her going to the
Me
church.
either. She went to the church.
I have a major
The
problem
church-
going to the church and lining in front of the congregation, which were people
But
that's going to believe her no matter what.
Okay,
So she played the race card and went all
we're
off
not
the
going to turn this into Miss Willis'
Right.
show.
Let me say this.
The last comment.
The church is a place for people.
And church is a place for a bunch of hypocrites, and she was hypocritical in
That
front of those
means he
people.
doesn't go to church.
And I don't.
I do.
Are you in
And
church?
I
You
believe
go every
that it
Sunday?
is a place for, do I go every Sunday? No, I don't go every Sunday, but I do go to church.
Yeah,
And I do watch.
We got to
I
make
watch
it
church.
Separate but equal. We're not talking about church or the
Yeah,
preacher pep. No, but anyway, now
I don't think there's anything wrong with her going
Okay.
to church.
she went to church.
And
She
you know
asked
what?
for forgiveness. I forgive you.
Absolutely. That's
Forgive
what it's
you.
for.
Okay. Now my outrage is at Oakland County. They railroaded the Crumleys. I'm sorry.
I
They
agree.
the worst parents in the world. They got
I
the
agree.
right name. They fucked up, but yet they picked them. They threw them under the bus. What happened to the administrators? That if that boy name was Jamal, they would have went in his bag and got that gun out of there, and they would have found him, kicked him out of school. But they didn't because Oxford is safe. I remember they used to laugh at Detroit public schools. They got metal detectors. They got shit. Listen, Detroit they don't always get shit right, but they got it right on that. You don't see people going in shooting up a classroom. They might shoot up outside or down the street. But I'm telling you, how many years are they gonna serve?
So, well, my problem
Murderers
with that,
walking the
my
street.
problem with that is this: is that now you've opened the door to hold these parents accountable. And I mean, who knows what kind of prosecutors are going to, use this action to put these parents in prison. You don't know what this was a case where this guy had-
Before the show, Jim and I was talking. Jim Nardoni is one of our
Hey
contributors.
Jim,
And he said if you buy your kid, and he got it right, you buy your kid a Corvette or any kind of car, they go out and they run over somebody, kill somebody, and they have done that. What do you say? Okay, Vanessa, you bought your son a car.
that's what I'm saying.
That's a weapon.
It's a very, very dangerous
Slow.
situation. We are on a very slippery slope. It's sad. It's
Okay,
really sad.
let's take a break. We'll come
For
back.
everyone involved.
Okay.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasurer.waynecounty.com and see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasurer.waynecounty.com.
Got it.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Vanessa, we got a special guest here in our first segment.
Oh yeah. So I would introduce. I know Alexandria because we both are practitioners of the law. I met Alexandria in 2016 when I ran for Congress. I forgot whose campaign she was working for, but we met each other, struck up a friendship, and we've been friends ever since. She's run for judge previously. She is now running for the U.S. Senate. She was formerly a member of the Democratic Party. She put the Democratic Party on blast on Facebook. I saw it, ma'am.
Yeah.
But she is a Republican and she is running for U.S. Senate. I'm also going to add that she was the attorney that was out front representing Christina Karamo.
Okay.
So welcome, Alexandria.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You're welcome.
Adolph Mongo here. Why did you put down a Democratic Party here in Michigan? I can imagine. I can give 10 reasons why anybody put them down. Go ahead.
Right. So the main reasons that I left the Democratic Party had to do with the policies. The policies were just anti-God. And so we look at these things specifically with children, like the transgender ideology with children. And that's just not something that I can come into agreement with. And it seemed that the policies were going more and more extreme. And if you didn't embrace that, that you were no longer welcome in the party.
Alexandria, I'm curious. I want to play this tape of former President Trump speaking in South Carolina to a Black conservative group that were Republicans. And I'm curious what your thoughts would be.
If you want strong borders, safe neighborhoods, rising wages, good jobs, great education, and the return of the American dream, then congratulations, you are a Republican. It's pretty simple. Joe Biden and the radical left have abandoned everything Black Americans care about. They've really let you down. Look.
What's your thoughts when you see something like that?
So I agree with that. I think, if you look deeper at this, I think that a lot of the Democratic policies are responsible for the destruction of the Black community. So when you look at Lyndon B. Johnson in the 60s and the start of that, where, there's no help to families unless a father is out of the home, and largely that affected Black families, which now today in Michigan, 71% of Black children are born to single mothers. And so we can't even talk about strong communities without having strong families. And so I do believe that. And the left, it's like the policies, the propaganda is so intricately, like race is intricately woven into that, where it's caught our community up in this cycle of like victimhood and poverty. And then you replace, I feel that the Democratic Party has replaced Black fathers with the government. And I see this professionally. I do family law. And so I represent a lot of, good Black fathers fighting to be a dad. And so it's like they've replaced dads with the government. And so I do believe that. And I think what, he said is true.
What about, wait, one question. Why, and I agree on a lot about the Democratic Party, but how can I go to a party of Republicans who vicious, racist, they want to go back to Jim Crow, they want to hang us, and they talk about it. Now Democrats ain't doing what they supposed to do. I get that. But Tommy Tuckerville and that whole little gang, here's a guy that made $1 million off in Black folks, and now Black folks ain't qualified to be lawyers, courting him or fly planes or whatever, get rid of Black history. How can we find a home in that party?
So let me make this clear. I'm not, I will never say that the Republican Party is perfect. Like there are some issues there. And I talked about this when I went on Fox too. Like there are some racial issues. I just feel like with this race, God created a path for me to come down, because it's hard to make change from the outside. And so we know it's largely a two-party system. And so I aligned with the party that's closer to my values. However, there are some racial issues. There are, I'm in a very hard position. I'm gonna just be real. It's like, the Black community views me as sellout And then you have Republicans on this side who are just simply like, I don't trust you. You're black. We think you're Democrat. Like they say it all the time. Like Republicans put a hit piece on me. Like she's a Democratic operative. She's trying to hijack the Republican primary. So when I tell you, I'm in a really tight spot. However, I'm just
between a rock and a hard place. I understand.
Well, let me ask you this. If you're going to change the policies of the party, is it easier to do it within the Democratic Party or the Republican Party?
With the Republican, because the thing is that these policies that the Democrats, I don't know about any of you, but I am a woman of faith. And so these are anti-God policies. So when you get into talking about, and you're teaching kids, and I know it because one of my campaign workers, her daughter, 8 years old, brought home a book about being born in the wrong body. In essence, what you're saying is there's no God. And so that's not something I can ever align with. And so for me, that was not a hard choice, because this is a movement that they're behind and they're pushing. And let's look at it from the flip side. Okay. As a criminal defense attorney, we know, Vanessa knows this, Miller v. Alabama says life imprisonment for juveniles is unconstitutional. I support that 100%. But the reasoning is because their brains are not fully developed. So, okay, if their brains aren't fully developed, then how are we allowing them to make such a life-changing decision as their gender? I don't care what grown folks do. You want to be whatever, cat, dog, girl, boy, I don't care.
Well, let me ask you this in terms of when we talk about morality, people don't normally think of Donald Trump as a beacon of morality. How do you, I see he's the leader of the party. Obviously he's endorsed your opponent, Mike Rogers. Would you have liked his endorsement? And how do you, when people talk about morality, they don't normally think of Donald Trump as the, in charge of the morality. How do you reckon with all that?
Well, Donald Trump is not Jesus. So yeah, he's not. And so I get asked this all the time. Like, he is not the ultimate authority for me. He's just not. And so it's like, you're the Republican nominee, and it's a rematch with him and Biden, but it's like, you're not the ultimate authority. He gets things wrong, just like anybody else. Let's be real. I'm not always right. You're not always right. And so, I know people don't look at him as that, and that's fine. But again, he's not who I'm looking to. And so he is his own person.
He's not running your campaign. How old's your campaign?
That's what how's it going?
It's going really well. I mean, we have a lot of traction, and there are a lot of people. Let me say this. There are a lot of people on the Republican side who do embrace us and realize that they need to be more welcoming, because again, there are a lot of people, and I know in the Black community, in the church, are very conservative. They just don't vote Republican because they feel that Republicans are racist. And so it's just the messaging and the candidate. And so there are people who embrace me on this side, and it's going really good. Like, I'm leaving to go to Lansing today. There's a rally out there with Christina, for everything that happened. So I'm going out there at noon.
Okay. And how's your reception been here in the city of Detroit? When people know you're Republican running, and obviously, look, it's over 90%. The vote normally goes 90% O plus Democrat in the city. What's the reaction been in your campaigning?
So it's been a mixed reception, but we've been focusing on the church because, again, the church is my base, and we've been well received by some pastors. I met with a local Black pastor yesterday. The church is downtown Detroit. And so that's who we're targeting, because again, traditionally, that's where the Democrats have campaigned, is largely in the predominantly Black churches in Detroit, in the Metro Detroit area. And so in those communities, because again, I'm running on a biblical platform. So I'm not saying this isn't anything new that I'm saying, and that's just what I'm running. I don't get caught up in the division of the parties. I don't serve parties. I do not serve Donald Trump. He is not my ultimate authority. So I'm running my own race. And so when people hear me and actually hear me speak, I'm very, very well received.
Will you vote for Donald Trump or Biden, or do you have any choice?
No, I'll vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, I'll vote for him. I'm not voting for Biden. Biden and his Bidenomics and this Agenda 2030 and all these migrants, to me, you'd have to be a fool to vote for this and see what they're doing. Like, they don't have a problem with the open border. So don't be confused. Like, this was the plan all along. So
well let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
So, Alexandria, how has the legal community, has the legal community been receptive to your campaign?
No, so not really. I mean, you know, the bench is largely. I mean, when you come to judges, the bench is largely left leaning, and so I've been getting beat up on. Like it's been rough. You know, it's been
Has
very.
Has it impacted your practice at all?
So not as far as like business that comes in, but it's just like some judges, like I was kicked out of a courtroom at Frank Murphy. I'm gonna say this, like, and I knew it was really political because the judge, like, I remembered when he was running, and so, but I mean, I was still respectful because I'm not gonna let politics interfere. But yeah, of course, my client was like, "Oh my goodness, like, what's up with the judge? Like, why is he all of a sudden like this?" And I just it's like, I don't know, but I knew. I'm just like, okay, this is very political. They're obviously not happy with what I'm doing.
And the reason I brought that up is that because, as you know, I'm running for judge. You know that, and we say that it's not political, but we all know that it's very political.
It is, yes.
So, as you indicated, people are picking sides based not on the person, but based on this is the line that I'm on. I'm in the D line or I'm in the R line, as opposed to let me look at the individual and see what that individual stands for. And I'm going to support that individual based upon what he or she stands for.
Right. No, absolutely. So I have, you know, some lawyer friends who are Democrat, and I come from the era of we can agree to disagree, you know, so just cancel. So like, I don't get down like that. Like I have a lot of friends, like one of my really good attorney friends, Hal Goldberg, who retired. We have like all out talks about politics, COVID vaccine, like all this stuff. And we don't agree, but he still came to support me when I made my announcement because he respects me as a person. And that's how I am. It's like, I have so many friends, you know, that I support and I respect, and we don't have to think the same way. Like, I don't know how we got to this point where it's just like, if you don't think like I think, you know, you want to just like ostracize somebody or cancel them. I don't adhere to that. It's okay to agree to disagree.
Alexandria, I have one question just to go back. Senator Langford, who is a very conservative senator, Republican, put together a bipartisan bill for the border, and now people are accusing the House of killing it because Donald Trump doesn't want it to go through. Is that a fair characterization? I know the bill isn't perfect, but it was a compromise bill, a bipartisan bill. That what's your feeling about that bill and the border issue?
Yeah, so I haven't looked at that, so I really can't give an informed decision. But I will say this: what they tend to do is they'll say, "Okay, Republicans, you want border security. Okay, we'll give you a border security bill, but then there's all this other stuff in it." And the compromises, I mean, these are some tough compromises. Like I know life is about compromise, but some of these bills, it's more bad than good. And so that's my thing. It's like, I think we've compromised too much. And I do think the border is a real issue. And I think even professionally, as a criminal defense attorney, it presents a problem because as you have these people enter the system, our jails are already overcrowded. Like, what does this look like? And to have so many people coming across, I was told like a week ago, migrants were bussed into Detroit. You know, this is a real problem to me, and it is concerning. And I am not for this open border, you know, philosophy that they want to do, which is part of like Agenda 2030, like no borders and everything is shared. I mean, I don't agree with that.
Well, Alexandria, we're going to have to wrap it up. I thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with your campaign?
So my website is alexandriaforsenate.com, and 4 is spelled out FOR. They can go on there and you can subscribe to the website and get all updates. And we're on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I think we even have a Snapchat.
Okay. Well, thank you
Is
very
that
much.
correct? Alexandriaforsenate.com?
No, it's FOR, not the number 4.
Oh, F-O.
FOR spelled out.
Yes, FOR.
Okay.
Alexandria, do you have a number?
Yes. Our campaign phone number is 313-378-2767.
Say it again.
You want to repeat that again?
313-378-2767.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
I'll
good luck.
see you out and about.
Thank you. See you out and about. Thank
See you,
you.
Frank Murphy. All right.
Bye.
Okay. Want to do another commercial?
Yeah, one commercial.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, you know, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasurer.waynecounty.com and see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasurer.waynecounty.com.
Got it.
Oh, welcome back. That was a good interview.
I thought it was.
See, you
really
can
good
be a
interview.
Republican and black, and she was not talking about hating herself or hating this. You know, you get some of these black Republicans saying, "Oh, Martin Luther King was this and that. We don't need Black history." They talk all that same bullshit. But listen, she got smart. Because I remember when I fell out with Democrats here in Michigan, they beat up on me, and I turned Republican. But I understand, and I know she's getting a lot of grief from folks that don't like her politics.
But she's an example of something that I always say. Listen, it depends on the issue. It depends on the issue. Some issues I'm very conservative. Very conservative.
But you ain't embracing a Trump.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the point that I'm making is that everyone in here, I believe, really, if they look within themselves, they're not all on one side or the other. We are a mixed bag. It depends on the issue. It depends on the issues. I really believe that. And so because we're in a two-party system, we're forced to say, okay,
I'm a Whig, though. I'm from the Whig party.
But the reality is, it depends on the issue.
Yeah, I'm from the Whig party, and you know we should prosecute George Washington. He took home documents.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, joining us, Jim. How you doing, Jim?
Good morning.
Okay. Our next guest. Listen, this guy, he ran for city council in Taylor. He was responsible. I say he was responsible for the last mayor. He helped expose the corruption in the city of Taylor. They were dressing up as convicts, passing out literature at the polls, and that killed your boy. What's his name? Rick Solomon? Yeah, Marty Drouillard of Taylor. How you doing, Marty?
Good. Glad to be here.
Now you embarked on another venture. You trying to recall who?
Charlie Johnson. He's a city council member.
Why?
Because he's shady right along with Rick Solomon. You know, they're together.
What has he done to make you decide to get a recall petition out in the community?
Well, we got a few different things on the petition. You know, some of the things were to do with being picked up by the police for having a prostitute. Or
There's a lot of
Wait. Back that up. Say that again.
yeah, there's allegations that he's picked up a prostitute and was caught at doing that. Also, some of the things that he's tried to push while in office, he's not even allowed to bring those type of things up.
Like push. What are you talking about?
His agenda is really to remove area towing as a contractor in that city, and he's there's a lot of things that will be coming out pretty soon. Documents that we found just recently that puts him in a bad light, really. I mean, we've already been in a terrible light in the city, you know, for years. And another thing is, if you or me were in this Rick Soller's shoes, we'd already be in prison.
But Rick Soller's still walking around.
He's still, you know.
You made a criminal allegation. You guys are surrounded by Taylor here, by the way. I had lived in Taylor.
You went to high
until
school
I was,
there?
went to high school there and lived there until I was about 24 years old, and I had to get the heck out of there.
So you left Taylor, he left one team and went to another team, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But anyway, you made allegations, criminal allegations. Has he been charged with a crime, or is it pending, or
Yeah.
can you?
We have no knowledge of it's just an allegation being made.
So is in Taylor that he?
We don't know where it was.
Okay.
We're still working on all that, trying to figure it out.
And has the language been approved?
Oh yeah, 4 different
Recall
languages. Yeah. He's going to be in a tough situation because you got other guys that were on the city council. One stepped down because he was going to become a county commissioner, which fell through, which was Mr. Ramick.
Now, our people can say, well, Marty's just pissed off because he didn't win a seat on the council and sour grapes, and now you're coming at a guy.
I know that I didn't do enough to win. You know, I know where I messed up, you know, and I put a lot of time in getting Rick Soller's, taken care of. I removed him from the ballot because him and 3 city council members, because I found, where they lied on their petitions to go and get voted on.
So how long has this guy been on city council?
I think he's in his 3rd term.
Okay, wow.
So you
he
mentioned
hasn't been there a long time at all, and you're trying to get rid of him already.
Yeah, and there's some other questionable ones there too that we're still digging.
So what you trying to do? Unseat the whole city council?
Hey, you know what? Well, they haven't done much.
People voted for
They
him.
haven't done much.
But the people voted
They can
for him.
elect them
Yeah, I
and
agree.
then unselect them.
Okay.
They can unselect. You had a question, Jim?
you mentioned Butch Ramick, who I've known for 40 some years probably,
Good
and
guy.
Alex Garza, who is now the county commissioner.
Yeah.
What the heck happened there? That's an
Yeah.
interesting. Are you a do-gooder? Are you trying to make it better for the community, or are you just trying to make it better for you guys?
No, I want the community. I mean, I'm all for the community. I want the north end and the south end to get better, instead of just continue putting it into the middle of the city. Let's get some of these other places opened up and do things.
How many signatures you need?
We're gonna need about 6,000, I believe.
Okay. Have you started collecting?
Not yet.
Okay. When you
He's got an appeal. He's got an appeal to
Okay.
go through.
Okay.
And then when that stops, then we start moving in.
if somebody wants to join your recall campaign, how do they get in touch with you?
They can contact me directly at a phone number 313-414-5405. I'm on Facebook. You can add me, and
I thought Taylor was just a nice, sleepy little town.
that's
Yeah,
what
right.
I've been told by a.
Oh, I know a whole lot. I got a lot of history in Taylor. They
We
tried
were
to railroad.
We were just talking about Taylor. Taylor, you got to be a man to live in Taylor. I think it's called Rick's Halftime Bar there on Ecorse Road last week. The gentleman went in there, and I guess they got a little fight over a pool table, like the pool table right here. And the guy went out and got it. There's plenty of reports that he went out and got a handgun, or he had a handgun on him. Well, he carried his handgun, let off a couple rounds, and the guys in the bar weren't too happy. So when the police got there, the only guy there was the guy that had the gun, and he's beat up, and the other guys took off. So that's an ultimate gun control. Allan's hope for gun control is you beat the guy up with a gun, and then you.
They took his gun and beat him with it. They pistol whipped him.
Yeah.
And they all left, and when the police got there, the only guy there was the guy with the gun.
Well, anyway.
Beat up.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, Marty, we're gonna have as the campaign heat up, we're gonna have to have you back.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you coming down here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Marty Drouillard. Any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Thanks, Marty.
He's the stuff starter in Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been that all my life.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Thank you. Okay. Let's take a break.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, you know, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasure.waynecounty.com and see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasure.waynecounty.com.
Got it.
All right, we are back. I'd like to introduce our.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, Taylor got a whole lot of issues, and we're going to see it in upcoming summer. That there's a lot in play in that little sleepy so-called community. Anyway, man, here's a guy. I think I've been knowing him as long as I've been around. That's been a long time. We grew up in Royal Oak Township. His father was my baseball coach. Listen, he was the man, Mr. Miles, Frank Miles. He not only helped our community with sports, but he was an outspoken politician who basically they took care of the township when the township had its own fire department, police department, courts. When I grew up, we saw people that looked like us in those positions. You know, you get caught doing something, police take you home. You know, throwing rocks in the cars. You know, this day you be in juvenile somewhere locked up. Gregory Miles, graduate of Oak Park. He went to school. Greg went to Frost junior school, junior high. Yeah, he was on the other side of the school district. I went to Clinton, but we all went to Oak Park. Welcome. Thank you. You wrote. Hey, you got a second book out. Your first book. What was your first book?
The first book was a book called "Come On, You Mudheads," and actually,
I read that
Speak
book.
up because you
Speak up.
need to, you need to project.
the first book is a book called "Come On, You Mudheads," and this is actually a revision of it. This book here. The book is about my dad who was trying to do something about juveniles having problems before you got to these drive-by shootings and all these things. He really put himself out for the community. And the first book didn't do as well as this one is doing. This is doing a whole lot.
How long has this been out now?
It's been out since November. I did some revisions in it, some corrections in it, added some new pictures in it. And now you got things like Facebooks and all these media things where you can project and do a little bit.
Right.
Second, for those who are viewing, we are live at McShane's Bar. We have people coming in. This is St. Patrick's Day weekend celebration weekend. So you're going to hear a lot of people coming in. So just stay focused, okay? And we will continue to project so that you can hear what we have to say. Again, if you're watching this show, we're on the corner of Michigan and Trumbull at McShane's. Like, subscribe, and share. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook Live, X, and all the other platforms. And Detroit and blackandwhite.com is where you can find all of our shows. Okay.
And there's a picture of your book, and people can get your book on Amazon.
Amazon.com. You go to a bookstore, if they don't have it, they can order it for you.
Okay.
Well, before we get into it, your nephew, and listen, NBA coach.
Oh, Aaron Miles.
Yeah.
He's coaching for the New Orleans Pelicans, assistant coach.
Oh, wow.
He coached for Golden State Warriors. His name is Aaron Miles. That's my brother Miles' son. Miles graduated with 8 hours.
Wow. Did he play basketball?
He played in Kansas for 4 years. He owned the Kansas assist record, and he did a little stint with Golden State. He assistant coach with them in Kansas, so he's doing well right now.
Oh, good.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your dad. I mean,
You know,
what are we going to learn when we read the book? What's the
you're gonna
message?
see a guy that gave his all for his community despite any challenges he had. He
Okay.
went way out of his way beyond the call of duty. Back when my father was in his time, if somebody did something in the community, what we lived at, about 3 or 4 men that would get together and go to the person's house and tell their daddy, hey, your son is ABCXYZ, do something about it. If you don't, we gonna send him up to Pioneer. And give you one that tell you.
Juvenile.
And where did
If
your dad
somebody
grow up?
stole something out there, him, Logic Bird, they would go to the house and say, you better give it back yesterday.
Uh-huh. And where did your dad grow up?
My daddy grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
He was from a broken home.
Okay.
His parents broke up, and my uncle took it better, but my father, it tore him apart. He couldn't handle it. And but anyway, he still tried to do the best he could. He played sports and all that stuff, and he understood broken families, and he understood recreation and having kids do something that would keep them out of trouble. That's what he was about.
And
Believe that.
when did he come to Michigan and what brought him?
He came here, he followed his brother's footsteps and joined the military, U.S. Air Force.
Uh-huh.
And after he was discharged from the U.S. Air Force, he joined his mama up here in 47, the same year that, what's his name? Jackie Robinson broke the color.
Okay.
That's what brought him up.
And did he come to Detroit or what? You guys?
He came to Detroit to join his mom.
Okay.
And that's where he met Mom.
When they moved to the township.
They moved to the township before I was born.
Okay.
Just before I was born.
So, Gregory, you said that this is doing better. This is a reiteration of a book that you wrote.
Yeah.
How do you explain that it's doing better? Why is it doing better? Is it because of new packaging or?
You got more media things that help you promote it.
You didn't have Amazon back then.
You didn't have all that.
He was Amazon.
Facebook, Hermione Pickett did a beautiful review of it. If you get a chance on Facebook, check it out. And she said she just feels everything that I said, and she just touched it. She couldn't put the book down. And I got a lot of other relatives said they just couldn't put it down once they started. It's got a lot of information in it, history of the township and stuff like that.
Tell us a little bit more about your dad. So he came here, and from
He
there,
came here and worked in the plant, but
what plant was
he
he?
worked at Ford Motor Company.
Okay.
That's where he ended up anyway.
Okay.
But when he saw the kids in the township, they were playing with little makeshift football and baseballs, and he went out and bought them the real thing.
Okay.
Then he got hooked on the kids, and they started coming in the house trying to get him to referee the games because they wouldn't be fighting so much when Mr. Miles was out there.
I was mad at Mr. Miles. On the All-Stars. I got picked for the All-Star team. And he was the coach of the All-Stars. They cut me.
They should have.
Not they should.
Baseball.
They cut me. They cut me. I went home and told my mom.
You know,
I'm gonna cut you off right now. We should have cut you. But Mr. Miles, I think this is a wonderful tribute to your father. Especially given that you said that your father came from a broken home. So, I just want to compliment you on doing something like this. This is something that will be here forever.
You know what it reminded me of? Now I'm paying you. She talked about her father, who was a musician. Wasn't he a comedian? Yeah, but anyway, and she basically said the same thing that you say in this book. So, yes. It's a good tribute to somebody, plus having grown up in this community, it's a history book.
Let me say this. I did a lot of traveling because I do genealogy. And I did a lot of traveling going to my nephew's basketball games and stuff. And I would always stop at the bookstore at the airport. And I would see books. I always buy one before I flew. And I always thought if I did another book, what book would attract people's attention? And that's why I come up with the cover and the title.
I like that. I like the name.
If I was at the airport and I looked at this, I seen some strange.
Do you have it in the airport?
No, I don't have them in the airport yet.
Okay. And how do one get the book?
Order Amazon.com. If you're in the metropolitan Detroit area, if you're anywhere near me, I'll probably drop it off.
Do you have it at Book Beat in Oak Park?
I haven't been to Book Beat.
And there's also a bookstore in Cass, a fairly new bookstore.
I got some work to do.
And how do they get in contact with you?
Oh, if you from over in area, you see me on Facebook. If you get in contact with me, feel free to email me.
What's your email?
gdmilessenior@gmail.com.
gdmilessenior.
Senior is senior spelled out or
SR
SR?
@gmail.com.
can stand for something.
Well, we ain't gonna go there.
And tell us, how many brothers and sisters, how many siblings do you have?
I got 3 brothers and 1 sister that's deceased.
Okay, hey Greg, thanks, man. Glad you could come by, bro. You know, Big Frank.
There's a picture of you there.
Oh wow, the legendary Mongo. There goes the sales. That's why the sales are so
That ain't the
good.
first.
Well, you know, one last thing. Your last book.
That's why you not getting the laugh.
Your last book was called "Come On, You Mud Hens," and the Mud Hens were the team.
The Little League baseball team. And my old man, every time the Mud Hens got in a deep spot, he would shout out like almost like a Fred Flintstone, yabba dabba doo. Come on, you Mud Hens. You know.
And that was the name of your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
Okay, Greg, thanks for coming by. We're gonna have to have you on again.
All right, thanks for the
Big
promo.
Frank.
I appreciate it.
Oh, there's no question about it. We're gonna have to autograph me a copy. Okay,
Let me autograph.
that's great. Take a little break.
Thank you.
All right.
And old memory.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, you know, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasurer.waynecounty.com and see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasurer.waynecounty.com.
Got it.
Let's go through it.
All right.
Welcome back. That was a great interview. Greg, we're gonna have you still sit in to the end of the show. Thank you.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Allan.
We're gonna go through some of the comments here. Here's one. Karen Winston, our justice system is out of control. Then we have Dubilia Boyce. Look at Chicago. If it's not true about immigration, how can you research it, especially now with AI? How do you research what's true? I've reviewed many online videos about this information. She was talking about immigrants getting funding. Sharon Winston says she is not on trial. She's talking about Fonnie Willis. And she's talking about the judge in Florida. I'm assuming it's a stall tactics. Then we have Terry McCrimmon. Race is not a card. Race and racism is real. Karen Winston, race card is inherently necessary. We have Karen Winston again. In today's world, the race card needs to be first issue cleared before charging. Kenneth Reed, There was about 15 black people in the crowd at that event. I don't know if he was talking about the South Carolina or
South Carolina.
The South Carolina. Yeah. Karen Winston agreeing. Then we have Karen Winston, political, sexual, and racial. Terry McCrimmon. Thank God someone's thinks like me. The open border are out of control. Everyone and their grandma trying to get into the country, and these folks have never fought for the country. Karen Winston, prison equal profit in this country. And then we have Timothy Square Bay. Ask her how she can speak on something that she haven't already. Eric Brown. No one is saying that racism is not real, and only a buffoon would make an argument about race not being a card. Everyone knows what it is being said when the term race card is being used. She was wrong. It's 2 left feet to go before the congregation and spew all that bullshit. He's talking about Bonnie.
How he gonna sit at the table and then go in the background and go in the comment section?
Hey, and then Karen Winston, I think she's talking about the Taylor case. She goes, "We need limits on Michigan Council." Eric Brown again says, "Alexandria Taylor getting in front of the right people with open mind can make a difference with an electorate base that really wants change."
Yeah, no question. Go ahead.
So, first of all, I want to thank everybody that has viewed the show today. If you like the show, we want you to press that like button, subscribe, and share. We are on all the platforms. We're here every Saturday at the Exchange on the corner of Trumbull and Michigan Avenue. I also want to say that I feel a certain kind of way. Why do I feel a certain kind of way? This is Women History Month, and we're supposed to have women on the show.
We had one.
But wait a minute. This dude right here decides that he's going to take over and have all these men on here, and I'm the only one. Wait a minute. We're a team here.
Ain't no team.
We're a team
it's
here.
M-E.
Now, if we're not a team, I can get up and get out.
Me.
Okay.
You've been
But
cut.
I'm just saying,
You've been cut.
no, not at all. No,
You've been
not at all.
cut.
But at any rate, again, I want to thank everybody for
I
watching the
before
show.
we go on, tell us a little bit what it's like to start campaigning. What's going on with that?
Well, you interface with people. It's sort of like what we're doing here. We interface
Are you
with
dedicating time right now, or are you just
I
getting
am. I'm
started?
dedicating time. I was out last night campaigning. I was getting signatures. Actually, the guy that was sitting next to me, Eric Brown, was out with me last night.
Okay.
I have family and friends that are out campaigning for me. And I'm getting signatures.
How many do you need?
I need 2,000 signatures,
How
but
many?
I want 4,000.
Any idea how many you have?
I do, but I don't want to say.
You want to say?
I don't want to say.
Why you
but
trying
we're
to
getting
get
there.
her exposed her hand?
Right. I'm not trying to expose my hand at all. I will say that I have had people approach me and say, well, whose seat are you running for? As if people who are currently in office own these seats. One thing that people need to understand, that everyone that sits on the bench works for the people. The judge that I go in front of every day, or judges that I go in front of every day, they work for me. You're not entitled to a seat. It is a privilege to work for the people.
But why should people vote for you? What do you tell people when they say, why should I vote for you?
Okay, so I'm running for 36th District Court, okay? And I look at 36th District Court like ground zero, right? That's the first court that they come in contact with. You commit a crime here in Detroit, you're going to go to 36th District Court. Or if you have a landlord-tenant issue, or if you have a civil issue, you're going to go to 36th District Court. So, I believe that it's the people's court. I believe that people should be treated with dignity and respect. When people come before the court, we see, you kind of see the same issues, but they're unique to each individual.
Do you see
people
judges
need to,
disrespecting?
Do I?
That's all. Yeah, like judges disrespected, judges not showing up. We could talk about judges all day. You know what? And next week, who we have? We're gonna get our girl.
Who?
You know
KK?
Yeah.
Let's call her KK. Well, I've been in contact with KK. She has not given me the date. So what you got?
Tell them who KK is.
Christina Caramo. So we've been in contact with her for her to come on the show. When I talked to Alexandria, I knew that it was going to be a good interview because I know her. And because she was able to speak and because she was able to present herself,
And she wasn't,
I think
and she
people were
wasn't a
able
nut.
to get
She wasn't a
a
crazy.
different impression of who Alexandria Taylor is. So
We're gonna know
it's
who
gonna be
KK.
interesting,
We're
yeah.
gonna know who KK is.
Okay.
I just want to mention, you know what, Greg ran for county commission out in Oakland County. Let me tell you how what a good guy this guy is.
Yeah, let me
And we're
finish.
gonna let it go, and I'll go to you. The person he ran against, who beat him, they like she respect the hell out of Greg because she said, you know, you got to have people like him on your team. You know, too many times we got people running against each other. They don't talk to each other. You know, I'm your sworn enemy. But if you want to make this community better, you know, we got to all work to make it better.
Right.
Whether you on what Republican, Democrat, Independent,
Thanks for the
or whatever.
compliment.
You know, and Greg has always been active in the community, and I'm glad that you can come on. And I want to thank everybody, Eric, your girl.
There's a reason that he's such a mensch, a decent guy. And this is the
You
reason.
didn't even
That's the reason.
you didn't
That's the
even you didn't
reason.
even know him when he came.
No, but I know.
Allan
I read the first book. Come on, you mudhead.
Allan got a little dementia.
No,
Anyway,
I read the first book years ago. What year was that it came out?
84.
Yeah.
84. I
So
read
we
it back
want to
then.
thank Jim.
So I'm aware of this
Teresa,
book. I wasn't aware of the new book.
Marty, thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
And thank Bob Roberts, people at McShane,
Go Shamrock.
Eric Brown, thanks. Okay,
All right. And we are ready to wrap it.
wrap it up.